Hey everyone, it's RB Kelly. Thank you for watching. We've already learned about likability and authority. So today we are taking it up to the next level. And we're talking about insight. Now you might be thinking, hey, I know how to send likability cues, I know how to send authority cues, so people respect me, they find me charming, and I've got what I want, I'm good. But the thing is, likability and authority help you make that solid first impression, and they help create a really charismatic persona that is really helpful to have. They create a really high level baseline for you in comparison to how other people are showing up. But we are not just a static first impression. We are real people with conflicts in dynamic situations where some days we have good days, sometimes they're bad. Sometimes we are like rocking it and sometimes we are rock bottom. So you need to be able to react to what's going on around you. And you need to be able to see what's coming before it happens. Now, if you are in fact a human being from the planet Earth, you will know that sometimes you are not entirely honest. Sometimes other people are not entirely honest. In fact, most of the time, people choose exactly which information to put forward and exactly which information to hold back. Women are more likely to do that in order to protect others' feelings, whereas men are slightly more likely to do that in order to make themselves look better, which I think is hilarious. But that tendency to edit your life is normal and human and universal. You'll see it on Facebook and Instagram pages. You'll see it at networking events. You'll see it when meeting friends for the first time or at your high school reunions, alright? We all want to edit in order to look better. That's why filters were created. But the problem is, if you only know what people tell you, you are depending on bad information. And if you are depending on bad information, that means you make a bad plan. And if you make a bad plan, you don't get what you want. That leads, if you're a salesperson, to not getting people to come in for their sales appointments, to not making the sale, not meeting your sales quota, not having a good monthly income, losing your house, and dying alone on the street. Alright? That's an extreme downhill, but it may be a slippery slope, but it's a slippery slope that you can at least take the first few slides, okay? So, you need to be able to know what people are thinking and feeling, but not telling you. And that, in a nutshell, is what insight is. So insight has 3 stages. First, noticing the things that other people are doing. I do things with my hands, with my face, with my body, and with my voice when I'm communicating information. All of that, along with the actual words I'm using, send a message to you about what's really going on. Now, if you haven't taken the time to train your nonverbal recognition skills, you will only notice what I'm actually saying, which leaves out the huge majority of the message. For example, if I was to say, I'm fine, and you were to interpret that based entirely on my words, you would come out with a very different interpretation compared to the person who interpreted that based on my body language. Alright? And we are primed to, when we see a difference between words and body language, to believe the body language. Alright? Because usually it's more honest. But most people aren't very good at paying attention to the body language of the people around them. This is why I am still in work. Alright? So you need to know what to look for and actually notice it in the body language of the people around you. This is things they're doing with their hands, with their legs, with their feet, with their torso, whether they're leaning in, leaning out, angled away, etc. It's what they're doing with their voice. If their voice suddenly gets a little bit higher, any weird things they do with their voice, and the actual words they're using. And the face. What are they doing with their face? Are they making weird facial signals at you? Because those mean things and you probably don't notice them. And so the very first thing in insight is noticing what those cues are, noticing when they're happening, and most people suck at that. Total honesty, most people suck. You think you're good, you probably suck. I'm being honest with you. Okay, part 2 is interpreting the cues. So if you are one of those very, very few people who actually notices the body language that people around them are using, this is the next opportunity for you to trip up. And this is actually interpreting what those cues mean. When I first got into body language, I was in high school. I was the awkward kid, excluded, lonely, like whole 9 yards. My parents actually thought I was slightly autistic because I was so bad at interacting with people. So my first body language book talked about all the exact meanings of all these exact body language cues. And so I would like sit at lunch hiding behind my book, and I would like pick a person and like flip through the book to figure out what their body language was telling me. And some of it was accurate, some of it wasn't. So you need to be able to interpret what people's cues mean. Because if you interpret it wrongly, you act wrongly, and then you get punished. It might be because you reacted the wrong way, and so they're like, oh, that's weird, and you lose the sale, or you lose the promotion, or you lose the job. You know, it could get pretty extreme. But you need to know what the cues mean. And this is where, if you listen to Google, and if you listen to the experts who are on TV and like show up on Oprah's show, etc., you will have wrong information. There's a lot of wrong information about body language out there, a lot of it, which is why it is important to rely on the experts and look at the scientific data. That's what I was trained in, to look at the experts and the scientific data so we could actually figure out what works. Alright, so first, notice the nonverbal cues. Second, interpret the cues. And then the third. And even after I was trained in nonverbal communication, this third part was really hard to figure out. And that is knowing how to react. When you see an angry person, there are certain things you can do to manage their anger so it doesn't hurt you or them. In fact, you can even use it to strengthen the relationship. I wish they taught that before people got married. When you see someone who's sad or irritated or frustrated, you need to know what to do with their emotion, how to react to it, how to handle it. So instead of it blowing up between you and causing a problem, it actually pulls you together and makes you stronger. And that is what I teach in this section on insight. So as you go through the day, think about what you can do to notice more of the body language around you. Actually look, what are people doing with their hands? Are they leaning in? Are they leaning out? What are they doing with their face? Where are their feet pointing? And just ponder, what does that mean? If I was doing that, what would I probably be feeling? What should I do about that, if anything? Start to pay attention to what people are doing with their bodies, because that will give you serious insight into what's going on inside their head. Alright, tomorrow I'll be back with one more video, and then you'll be set loose on your own to leave the nest. Have a good day, guys. See you later.